to speak in that environment. And there I was invited to speak just for 10 minutes, in Dubai, fully sponsored, you are paid for, your business is, funded and so on. And I then realized that the moment that I post, there are people that will be watching. Some of them, they don't even comment. Some, they don't even put even a like, right? But it's all about you establishing yourself and your business for these opportunities. I'm not saying everyone is going to get this type of opportunity, but all I'm saying is with social media, you need to show up. Why? Because you are competing against millions and millions of people. I think one of our co-presenters said to us, there are people selling the same products. Right now, if we are to look at the number of businesses that are here, you're going to find that you're not the only one in that business. There are so many of you. Now, if you go on social media, there are millions of you. So how can you then harness that opportunity? You need to have a unique profile and a unique way of selling and presenting your products and your services for opportunities to come in. Okay, I'm going to skip the next slide because of our time. One of the opportunities that I also landed on was called the Tech Women Program. You can go ahead, Media, the next slide. So the Tech Women Program, the next slide, sorry. This is a program that I applied for when I saw the advert online. And like I said, LinkedIn, all these opportunities, they are there. So I applied and I said, you know what, I want to go, because this is more like an exchange program where you go to America for mentorship in Silicon Valley. And I applied, and one of the things that led to us getting this opportunity was our digital footprint. Because they would ask you, what are you doing? And what do you think if you go to America, you will learn and bring back to Zimbabwe? And they would ask you, if you have done this, okay, share the link. And I had this application go on, and I was selected to go to America for 6 weeks in Silicon Valley, where I had now the exposure to visit any big tech company that you might know. I went to Google, I went to Facebook, I went to Apple, I went to any technology company that you can think of. And for 3 weeks, I was being mentored at LinkedIn. And I still remember one of my mentors at LinkedIn asked me how many courses I had created in the 5 years that I had founded Tofara Online Trust. Then I said 2. And she literally said, you know what, you are sleeping. Why? Because at LinkedIn, we create more than 900 courses a year. Yet in 5 years, you've got 2 courses. So that exposure on its own gave me the power or the strength. They say, okay, when I go back home, I need to sit down and create more courses. And I think right now we've got, I can't even remember, maybe more than 20 other courses that I created from this experience alone. And all of those courses that we have created, we have now managed to sell them beyond Zimbabwe. We have established ourselves in Eswatini and in Zambia. Why? Because we have managed to penetrate these markets through social media. So all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, the next slide shows one of the programs that we are doing in partnership with a company based in France. So I always tell people that yes, in Zimbabwe we do have opportunities, but when you establish yourself on social media, there are many companies that are willing to partner with you to make a difference in Africa. So with the Talent for Startups program, this is the program that we have managed to partner with in Zambia and Eswatini, and so far we have trained more than 20,000 young people on digital skills and also on digital marketing. One of my last stories, before now I venture into the notes that you want to write, is an opportunity in the next slide where I got an invitation from the United Nations to go and speak at the United Nations General Assembly, and that was 2024. And imagine, they called me and said, Tofara, we want you to come to New York to speak for 3 minutes, and we want to tell you what you think is the future of digital skills in Africa. So you can imagine getting an opportunity from online to go and speak in New York for 3 minutes, fully sponsored and paid for. So you can imagine the opportunities that social media can open open up for you. If I was hiding and saying, you know what, I don't want to be known, I just want to work in the, in the background, was I going to get that opportunity? So, when you get to these countries, I never thought myself I'm going to travel like I travel these days. But you'll find that last year, I think I traveled to 9 countries, never paid even a cent, just being invited to speak about the work that we are doing. And all these opportunities have also given me an opportunity to learn more about technology and see what is not in Zimbabwe and bring it to Zim. And that is how we have established Tofara Online. So now, as we are now diving into social media, there are key things that I've realized for you to grow on social media. Yes, we are going to talk about the 5 core pillars of social media marketing. Media, you can go to the slide that says things to note to position yourself for global opportunities. Okay, so with social media, one thing that I've realized is you need to get clarity on your business and on your career. What exactly do you want to grow? A lot of us are running, I don't know whether they are called businesses, but we are hustling. Today we are selling tomatoes. Tomorrow we are selling eggs. The next day we are selling blankets. The next day we are selling training material. The next day you are a carpenter. People online get confused. They don't know which business to give you, because maybe tomorrow they are going to look for eggs and you say, I don't eggs today, I don't have eggs, I have got blankets. So all I'm saying is get clarity. What do you want to grow online? So for me, in as much as I do other hustles, but I told myself I want to be online to grow the digital skills development space and make sure that people adopt AI, and that is the voice that has been consistent all along. So I want you to establish your business by giving yourself clarity. Work with excellence in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the competition that is in the physical market is actually less than the competition that is on the digital space. So if you are selling clothes, make sure that those clothes are quality. Even if they are not quality, make sure that the picture is nice, right? Make sure that even if you take with your phone, I always tell people, I used to have clients who would say, you know what, I'm selling clothes from Turkey. They are quality clothes. Then you tell them, okay, send me the pictures. Someone has just thrown the clothes on the floor. And I'm saying, you know what, we are competing with, people that hire models to wear their clothes. And without the excellence, you're not going to get business on social media. So you need to understand that it's not about also you, and what you like. It's about what the people like. So excellence is what is going to make you have a profile that is easily recognizable. With social media, you need to research about your business, or you need to research about your career. A lot of us, we just go on social media and start marketing. We don't take time to understand the business model, what is happening in Zimbabwe, what is happening in South Africa, what is happening globally. Right? So with social media, you need to understand exactly what drives people. And I always tell people, social media is social media. No one is going on social media, on Facebook, to look for business or to look for you. No one is going, maybe they are going there to look for other scandalous issues that are happening, right? So you need to just make sure that when you research about your business, you understand exactly what people are looking for. You understand exactly what your clients need, right? I'm one person who I also give this example. When you are selling shoes, for example, you want to go on social media to sell shoes. I always tell people that my father was a size 13. So you can imagine I landed somewhere close to there, right? But when you get into a shop or when you go on social media, people are just advertising size 6, size 5, maybe size 7. And I'm saying, you can spend the whole year advertising your lovely shoes and no one buys, because my size 6, I know I'm butsu kwese kwese. But if you want to satisfy the market like me, you need to also then see that there is a certain market that requires my size 8, my size 9, my size 10. And you can easily sell on social media. At one point when I started that African business, I had this idea of where I would sell finished products, the dresses, the skirts for ladies and all. And I still remember I had, I researched, I did my research and I thought I did the perfect research. Then I got, information to say you need to buy or to make clothes for the slim people, right? For the petite, the size 8, the size 10, the size 12, those are fast movers. Research from the people that are around you. I still remember I made a huge loss because I went on and said to my designer, please, can you make clothes my size 8, 10, 12? And, I went on social media, posted them. I had good fabric. Imagine I had invested to go to Tanzania to get the good fabric suppliers. I started marketing my petite sizes. And guess what? All I could get was, oh, nice. Oh, this is beautiful. But I had no sale. Why? Because I didn't get time to research what my audience needs. Until one woman from online just said to me, are you selling clothes for the petite only? Where are the big sizes? And I went on, I said to my designer, please can you make size 42s and 44s? Back then I was really big, right? Then I went on, modeled the clothes myself. In one day, all the big sizes had gone. So this is what is making other people thrive on social media and others not. Why? Because we are selling what we think people need. And we are not taking time to research what our social media audience requires and also selling those things as solutions to them. Do something different. This social media, I tell you, can be brutal, right? If you are not innovative in the way you do things, I've seen people who are into catering. There's one lady that I follow. She's into catering. But these days, when you see her events, the reason why people are giving more business to her is because instead of a chefing dish, arukupakura from hari yedaka. Saka vanhu hey, this is traditional. Takakura tichibikirwa muhari, but mudzimba dzedu izvezvi hamuna hari. Saka munhu ari kungofila kuti pa-event yangu ndiri kuda hari. So do something different. Social media is all about capturing people's attention differently. One of the guys that grew on social media, Kwateri, and most of us follow Kwateri, and do you know that people can just go Kwateri just because amuona achidya vise rake nesalt, right? That's him. That is how he is marketing his business, and that is how he is capturing the audience. So you need to do something different. Besides the adoption of technology, what unique feature is in your business on social media that people can go and say, very different? I still remember one of the things that we implemented at Tofara Online. We discovered that a lot of people are training digital skills, yet we are leaving the students to die. What am I saying by dying? We are leaving them still unemployed. There's unemployed, the unemployment rate in Zimbabwe. At this moment, I was reading that we have got 2.4 million young people that are not in employment or training, that are just seated at home. And we were saying, okay, we are providing digital skills, but we can't then leave them again after this training to go back home and sit, right? So we then came up with a platform called Tech Talent Connect, where we now bridge potential employers and our students, and we combine them. Sometimes we do physical events, sometimes it's online, and that is how we have also managed to leverage different sponsorship and opportunities. Why? Because we were saying we are solving the unemployment issues in Zimbabwe. So do something different that people will really come to you, so that people will really value when they come to you. With social media, you need to be clear with your values. Sorry, I'm still on the other slide. What are your values? Communicate your values. Is it excellence? Is it honesty? Is it Truthfulness. With social media, there are a lot of scams. But you need to make sure that when you use social media, you need to understand that people will also give you business because of your values. And one of the things that I always emphasize is make use of what we call massive open online courses. Today, I've just come to talk about social media. To tell you the truth, this is not training. You can't then say, I'm just going home, I'm going to succeed. The stories that I've been telling you, maybe some of these came after 5 years of hard work on social media. But make use of massive open online courses where you can learn for free. For example, you go on Allison, you now understand, okay, there's social media. I need a full social media course. Go and learn. ChatGPT, with AI these days, you can learn anything from it. ChatGPT being one of them. Microsoft Copilot. We've got Gemini. All these tools, they come for free. And it's up to you to understand, Kuti, it's only a matter of downloading an application on your phone and learning for free. Okay, be consistent and create content. Social media is more like if I talk to you today and I go back and I don't talk to you for a month, literally I've forgotten about you, right? So with social media, you need to be consistent. If you tell yourself I'm going to show up on social media 3 times a week, then you need to show up 3 times a week. Show us your product. Show us your service. Show us, the impact that you are making. Show us the solutions, etc. Create content. It's not about just being on TikTok to create content, but it's about you being consistent. Show up every day. I think you have seen a number of business people that are now more like content creators. I follow the guy who is into farming, Carlos Smith, right? We used to see Carlos Smith kuma butchery, yes. But right now he has taken a step further to say he wants to, he'll be showing you in his pigsty and he's feeding the pigs. Kumbudzi, kuhuku. Recently he was showing what happens behind the abattoir zewuku. That is not just creating content. He's trying to lure the market just because, people when they fall in love with you as a brand, they'll give you business. So be consistent and create content. Use LinkedIn as well. Like I said before, it's all about getting business from professionals. Then with social media, you need to make sure that you grow bit by bit. There's nothing called fly by night when it comes to social media for business. My last slide, I'm going to talk about the 5 core pillars of social media marketing. Remember that those 2 pictures that I spoke about. But for you to succeed on social media, you need to take note of the 5 core pillars. The first one being strategy. There is nothing like I just wake up and show up. Kuchishona tinoti kwarakwasho and ngoti kwarakwasho watu social media. You'll find that those who usually make it in business on social media, they have a strategy. They go on social media to understand what people need, where their clients are. Right now, if you look at social media platforms, we can discover that there are more than 20 social media platforms, but you need to understand where exactly you need to focus your strength on. So for example, you can have a strategy to say, I'm going to focus on Facebook only, or I'm going to focus on Instagram because of my clientele base. I'm going to focus on LinkedIn. Personally, at the moment, I just use 3 social media platforms. That is WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And for now, I'm okay. Without this strategy, this is where you are going to find yourself in different places, but without or limited business growth. Why? Because you are targeting audience that are not really in that space, right? So strategy really matters when it comes to social media. With strategy as well, this is when you sit down and understand the pain points of your clients. When we are talking about digital skills at Tofara Online, we understand that there is a skills gap that is there, not only in Zimbabwe, but maybe across the continent of Africa. And we are coming with a solution that is going to make people employable, and also make people establish their businesses online. So you need to understand the pain points of your clients and provide a solution like what I said, whether it's clothes, whether it's food, there are pain points that you need to identify and make sure that you actually harness it in your strategy. The second core pillar is planning and publishing. It is very important. I think I spoke about consistency, but consistency cannot come up correctly without proper planning. And to these days with artificial intelligence, it's easy for you to come up with a content calendar. Right now, as you are seated, you are doing your cupboards like my brother, you are a carpenter. Just tell AI, go to your ChatGPT and say, create my content calendar for the month of July. This month I want to be focusing on selling cupboards and ceilings, full stop. It will give you brilliant ideas that you will take, of course, and then, connect them with you as a human and create content along those lines. If you are one person who does videos a lot, on planning and publishing, we are saying you can go on AI, ask for it to write a script for you, and you go on a camera with good lighting, and you know what? In no time you have a video to post, because I've discovered that with videos online, you get a lot of viewership. At some point, I think we were advertising for our recent digital skills for green jobs and entrepreneurship. Only one video had had a reach of more than 57,000, which was a hit to us to say, okay, we thought we were just advertising with this small video, but you need to make sure that you plan. So artificial intelligence has come to make your life easier. There's nothing wrong about using it. Then in terms of publishing, we're talking about publishing your content. With social media, the good thing is, we said if you go and post today and be quiet, maybe for the next week, most probably people are going to forget about you. So that consistency comes through planning and publishing as well. Make sure that you use the internal features. For example, on Facebook, you can actually schedule your post to post tomorrow, whether you're on your computer or not, right? On LinkedIn, the same thing. If you're one person who uses Canva like us, you can also make sure that you can publish your Canva calendar with, and make sure that you have that consistency. Then listening and engagement. This is where we are saying you need to listen to what people want, right? Get to understand, I think I spoke about it indirectly. Get to understand their needs, get to understand what they want and what they are saying about your brands, and engage with them. Engaging is more like talking, right? Apana munhu wandichapa business ndisati ndataura naye, right? Ndisati ndacreate a relationship naye. So we need to make sure that we are all engaged. We need those likes, we need those comments. We need people to have, an idea of what is Tofara Online Trust, and make sure that, you ride on that pillar. Then analytics and reporting. I usually show this, when we are training, especially on my LinkedIn. LinkedIn gives you the number of people that you have searched and how many times you have popped out in the search results. It shows you about people who are viewing your profile and so on. Those analytics might look very tiny, but they are very important. Why? Because if you understand kuti waposta a piece of content, it has reached 57,000 people. Maybe from those 57,000, you're going to convert maybe 10 clients, right? So if you don't have those analytics and you're not really, valuing them, you'll find that you're going to post a piece of content, only 5 people are going to view, and most probably on 5 people viewing, you're not going to get any business. So you need to make sure that your numbers of people that view your content is high up there, so that at least you get the sales in the business that you want. Then the last thing is advertising. I like one of our brothers who said, with $5 you can post, you can boost your advert, and you can get clients. This is the last stage. After creating relationships with people, after posting your content consistently, after getting organic followers, organic everything, the last is to then pay for your adverts and make sure that you have the right targeted audience, for your clients. So these are the 5 core pillars of social media marketing that, in as much as I've told you the stories of what happened to me in my journey with social media, I think there are a lot of stories that I can share, but this is centered around strategy, around planning, listening and engagement, around analytics, and also advertising. I would like to thank you all for this time that I've had with you. I'm sure we are going to have a question and answer session. Thank you.
Come on, we can do better for Ms. Tofara. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now turn to your neighbor and say, you see where social media can take you? Now remind them that they are supposed to showcase what they do on their social media. All right? Yes, not your breakfast. You're supposed to showcase what you do. Turn to your neighbor one more time and say what you do. Exactly. So remember, what she said is posting with intention, right? But I know a lot of you have questions, so we are moving on to a session of question and answers. So you already have a mic. I'm going to ask for one person to hold the roaming one for me. Thank you very much. So all questions are going to be directed to her. Please keep it short and make it intentional. You stand up, you introduce yourself, your business, and then you ask your question.
Morning once again. My name is Progress Mandigwara. So I'm into marketing, basically. So my question is, when posting, I've been posting consistently 5 times per week, but then my number of followers is not growing. And I'm a bit I'm really worried about that. But how do I grow my followership?
Okay, so which platforms are we talking about?
I'm using LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay, so most probably you need to do what we call a content audit, right? So remember, like I said, social media, people are not going there to look for business. They are just going to socialize, right? So we need to do what we call a content audit to see whether you are posting content that is in line with the people that you want to attract. So remember, it's also not about selling. I usually give this example. Imagine you're on your WhatsApp every day, you post your tomatoes. $1. The same thing tomorrow, $1. The same thing tomorrow, $1. The next time, people are not going to view. So we need to see what type of content that you are posting. Is it content enough to attract people's attention? And maybe one thing that I did not mention, I'm so much of a believer. There is grace in the marketplace. One of the things that I also prayed is for people to recognize my profile. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, next question.
Good morning. My name is Tadiwa Matatse and I own a summer house in Marlborough. So basically it's a place where I've created it for couples who want to reconnect or connect who just started the dating phase. So I'm single and I'm not married and I want to attract a niche that is a group of people who are in relationships. So there's a book I read that says that the person you are and how you make money has to be almost similar. So since I'm single and I'm not married, how can I be authentic enough to someone who wants to be part of the experience that I want to offer the market?
You are single, you want to attract partners.
I'm trying to appeal to people who are in relationships. So,
Apostle, please can you help me on that one?
So, look, principles are principles. Whatever business you are doing, whatever you want to do, whether it's church, business, social, soccer, restaurants, you have to still apply the principles of social media, which she has mentioned, especially in the 5 pillars. That's a brilliant slide right there, and I really liked it. So you have to research. and say, you are not the first one to try to do this. What has worked elsewhere? Can you bring it? Can you adapt it to your market? That's what you need to do. So it's not so much about you. It's about what works and what has worked before. And success leaves clues. Things that have worked will work. Prompts, handles that will get viewers, will get viewership. So that's what others are now doing. They actually just check and say what is working, and you then come in and do that. Once you have got the traction, you can then do your unique things. But principles are principles. I think that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. And I also think maybe you can also follow a couple, the South African, the Laminis, who are doing massive work when it comes to couples. When it comes to content creation, I've discovered that they showcase their relationship to attract people who are in relationships. So at some point, I believe that God is going to give you someone who is going to support that vision, so that at least on social media, it really booms. Why? Because you also have a personal experience that you are sharing with the people that you want to attract.
Good morning. My name is Lawrence Magrai. So I'm a fintech engineer, and this year I've started to take LinkedIn seriously. So I revamped my LinkedIn. So I'm in the process of creating a personal professional brand. So I've seen that going well, and the impressions that I get on the content that I post, they are quite amazing. So there's a gap in the market that I've realized that a lot of people that are in the management level or C-suite level, or most of those people, they've gotten there maybe through hard work and maybe their knowledge, whatever it is. But the gap that I've realized is most of those people, they end up just there. Maybe the next phase of their lives or in their careers is to build a professional, personal brand that they can carry with them even after leaving their workplaces. So I decided to do a study on LinkedIn and saw that most of those people, if you take a look at their profiles, it's just a profile that says CEO. They don't even engage with the community, with the people that they inspire or the people that follow them. So I want to tap into that market where I help people that are in management levels and C-suite to manage their LinkedIn profiles and build their professional brands on LinkedIn. My question now is, how do you approach those people and how do you present your offer to them so that they see that you are offering something that's good value and something that can benefit them?
Okay. Well done on that. So with LinkedIn, the good thing is, if you are to visit that company, there is a hierarchy for you to get to the CEO. So with LinkedIn, I discovered that it has removed that hierarchy. All you need to do is to communicate professionally. Hi, this is Ningi Ningi. This is what I do. And I'm hoping that maybe engaging with you will help you to create a professional profile. You inbox them. If you don't have, sometimes some profiles, high profiles like that, they are locked. So which means you need to invest in LinkedIn, the paid version, so that at least you have access to them. I believe it's something that is very lucrative. And I know of someone who is trying to also do this similar setup, but go for it. It's all about how you present it. And the good thing, you have also made your profile grow. Because sometimes when you bring that proposal to people, they go and look at your. So the good thing is you are in the right path, but it's all about just communicating with, proper professional proposals. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next question. We can have as many as we can. The lady over there.
Good morning. My name is Bianca. I own a car rental business called Pari Car Rental. So my question is on personal branding. I'm generally a person who does not want to be on social media. Will my business grow without me being in the forefront. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, we do have organizations or brands that are called faceless, right? Faceless brands. They can grow, but they will take time. I usually give an example of Dr. Strive Masiwa. If you look at his personal pages, they have more followers than the business pages, which shows that there is something about the person that is not there on the business brand. Yes, he has established, but I personally believe that his personal profile, he has managed to make him penetrate in different countries, different nations, that even are giving, the Econet and all other this money. So it's a personal choice to be on the behind. Maybe you need to have a very strong marketing team. Yeah, because with your type of business, I'll give you an example of a lady who recently opened a car rental at the airport. Her name is Dr. Mo. She is doing so well. Why? Because she just talks about the business herself. People are giving her business. It's not like people are going to go to drive a car rental just like that. But they have this connection that they have with the person. But we respect people like you. Make it faceless, but which means you need to work harder than someone who is at the front. Yeah.
Okay, let's put our hands together for her.
Thank you very much. My name is David Sezai. I'm a public health specialist, but I've recently stepped into the construction industry where I have realized potential and I want to grow that path. So I run a one-stop shop which offers integrated construction services from plan designs to superior construction as well as also finishings. Trust me, I do state-of-the-art job, but I convert clients through those that I physically interact with, and also I think my WhatsApp is doing a fair job, but I'm failing to penetrate the market through Facebook, where I think there could be great potential. The challenge that I'm realizing is that Facebook in it has a lot of scams. People download work that is not theirs and try to market. So debunking that myth or that reality is what I'm finding a big task to overcome. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations on your business, which I feel is one of the most lucrative. But like I said, with social media, especially Facebook, where people just go for nyayas and different things, there is a huge market of people living in diaspora that have faced a lot of problems when it comes to construction in Zimbabwe. So the moment that you go online, it's not about you marketing the exquisite services or products that you have. It's about showcasing to them that you have a solution and you are authentic. If there is a possibility of you posting the work that you have done before, you can also do it. I follow one guy who, I don't know whether he's failing you in real estate, but he is selling stands like hotcakes. I think it was Alan or something, right? Aaron. And so I started following this guy because I'm really passionate about people who are, in their space. He's selling not by just saying, "Truting some stands every day." He comes with different stories, different works, kana akaenda ku area yake akata ma stands kwakagadzira ma roads kungoposta aerial view of the stands, and he's selling stands like hotcakes. Why? Because he is presenting it differently. He's showcasing zvirikuitika on the ground, and people definitely will begin to trust you. So it's all about you going with your product, targeting to solve the problem that people are having in construction, then also making sure that the content is interesting. This is Facebook. If you want it to be very professional, no one will read. And Saka, I think that's the best I can answer you.
All right, come on, let's put our hands together for her. More questions? More questions? I think we'll take two more. There is a hand over here. Come on, let's put our hands together for her. And there is another one over there.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Tofera.
Hello.
My name is Samantha and I'm a virtual assistant. So I've actually been trying to get into the online education space, teaching other people to be virtual assistants. I'm shooting my shot. Can I buy you a coffee?
Okay. I'm open for coffee, cafe na silence.
All right, I just learned a whole new definition to shooting your shot. One in the back and then another one up here.
Hello everyone, it's Notenda Shi. So someone who is interdisciplinary in the engineering field. So my question is, how best do I represent myself on the social media where it comes into, since I'm into broad projects, like it can be automation, it can be agriculture, it can be research. So how best do I represent myself without bringing confusion to potential clients or people that would want to follow my work?
Okay, so the best place that you should market those services is LinkedIn, where you are supposed to also establish yourself as a thought leader. So I think your area is not confusing, but it needs a certain group of people that understand your work. So all you have to do is, like I've responded to the previous question, just make sure that you post things that people understand. You know, I've seen people using jargon. Just because you're a doctor, you start talking about terms that people don't understand. That's where the confusion is. This is social media. Try to be as simple as possible to talk about the areas that you are talking about. I think when you talk about that space, at one point when I went to Silicon Valley, I visited AutoCAD. That area is one of the most paid, place or profession, I can say, where you just need to have clients that understand you, but one of the places is LinkedIn that you can establish yourself as a thought leader in that space.
All right, thank you very much. I believe you answered at the back, or you answered? All right, thank you very much. So in the next 15 minutes, we are going to do something practical. How many in here say we own businesses and they are already online? How many in here say we own businesses and they are already online? All right, thank you very much. How many in here are saying, I have a business, but I haven't put it online yet? I have a business, but I don't have it on social media. Come on, raise your hands. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. All right, in the next 3 minutes, to Kumbirisa, do you have data? All right, start with, you said LinkedIn, right? For professional. LinkedIn, and then you go Facebook, and then you go Instagram, all right? Clean profile picture, clean bio, tell people what you do, like she has said, right? And then to the people that has social media but it has not been working, please raise your hand. I have social media but it hasn't been working. I haven't even got a sale from social media yet. All right, come on, let's stand, let's stand. This is the moment where we help you. This is the moment where we help you. You have a business, it's on social media, but it hasn't made a sale yet. All right. Thanks for the courage. Come on, let's put our hands together for them. Okay, so now I want you to tell us what you think your problem is, and then she's going to try to help you address it. All right? Yes.
All right. This is really for my second business. The first one, it's a gift business. It has received quite an audience on social media. But the second one, I started housekeeping training agency in October last year. So I opened a page on Instagram and on LinkedIn for that business. what I do is I train housekeepers, I train maids, we train gardeners, we train housekeepers that work in hotels, in lodges and stuff like that. And we also offer cleaning services. So on my pages, I was faceless until today. From today, I won't be faceless. But I was faceless, and I always post flyers and, well, information, but not really showing myself on them. So I think that's one of the reasons why my pages have not shown any traction or have attracted the correct clientele. Yeah, I'm not.
All right, so you're already helped already.
Yes, I'm helped by what.
Come on, let's put our hands together for her. Okay, so to the organizers, now I can safely say it's working. All right?
Thank you. My name is Remeti, and I'm a software developer, but I'm also a certified public speaker. So I recently created a page on TikTok because I want to monetize my public speaking skills. But the challenge is my account is not yet growing. I've been posting content, but I've been faceless. So the challenge now is my account is not growing, and I haven't made any sales yet or get any clients yet.
Okay. You are a public speaker, but you also decided to be faceless.
Okay, I was. Okay, I am planning on being visible, of course, but like I said, I've been posting content, but not being visible yet.
Okay. So, like I said, with social media, you need to study where your market is. On TikTok, I don't think you will get a very serious business person or organization that can fish a speaker on TikTok. Yes, you can, but personally in my life, I never thought at one point I'll be a speaker. But because of LinkedIn, where people are looking for thought leaders that can impact people's lives through speaking, that's where I get opportunities. I don't even look for this for opportunities to speak. For this one, today, it's a testimony. Someone mentioned my name, where I don't know, but I think it's in the marketplace organizing team. I'm here to speak. I never applied for it. But one thing that I know is they saw my profile on LinkedIn or on Facebook or something. So you need to understand that there are places where you can have slow growth because your target audience is not there. Yeah. So try LinkedIn. Try not to be faceless if you're a public speaker. Yeah. That is what I can say.
And also, before the next question, from a public speaker's point of view, I think public speaking is something that people actually want to see you do before they come in and buy from you. So what you can do is you can join public speaking challenges. There is leap throughs, there is runners, things. So instead of telling people how to become a good public speaker, tell them what they need to be, how they can monetize it, how to nail an interview. If you follow Vian King, he's got quite amazing videos on YouTube. He will be showing you how to, or just tackle subjects like anxiety, right? How to maintain your cool while you're nervous on stage, all right? So it's not coming up every day and say how to be a good public speaker. That's what everybody is doing. But maybe I'm a good public speaker, I just get nervous when I'm on stage. So you address that, and then that's how you get a following, because now you're giving them content, something that they need, and now they can follow you, because people don't just follow someone because they think they are doing something, right? All right, next question.
Thank you very much once again. I think I've mentioned that I offer modern construction services. Maybe from your presentation, I got that I like consistency and also not simplifying and posting the real work at times that I do. So I think you have said something that I've already that have already helped me. But in case you have something to add.
All the best.
All right. Seems like one more battery the next one. Come on, let's put our hands together for the organizers.
Thank you. My name is Tenai. I'm in clothing retail business based in Gweru. So my business is now 5 years doing it, but I've been running it faceless. So I've seen on my pages, I just post when I get new stock, I just post the clothes in mannequins and then that's it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's the reason why I've been not getting sales.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
okay.
Remember, yeah, with clothes you need to be really vigorous. Why? Because people don't buy clothes every day, right? One of the persons that I've seen who have grown her clothing brand is a lady who has a brand called Heaven's Clothing. She blogs and speaks about the type of clothes that you are supposed to wear, maybe for a business meeting, what is smart casual, if you're going for a wedding, what are you supposed to wear, you know, and she now does what we call wardrobe audits. You know, she's amazing. She goes kumba kwemunu, wanzi ndivurire wardrobe yako, oita audits, yeah, ichaite obvisa over what chitenga hembe dzangu. You know, that kind of thing. And she's making a lot of sales. You know, so it requires, like I said, this is a marketplace that is full of people doing that same type of business, but how are you going to show up differently? So you need to go back and see how best can I market my clothes, right? These days, you know, we have got churches. I was looking at one of the churches and I was saying, maybe this church is praise and worship church in 1,000, not 500. And they will be wearing the same dress. Where are they getting that dress if you're not the supplier? Right? So you need to have a very rigorous way of marketing, be it on social media or even visiting, you know, different platforms where you can supply the clothes. And definitely make sure that you understand what people want. You know what I've discovered with people who sell clothes is they order clothes that are nice to them, right? That are comfortable for them. I'm one person, when I'm presenting, I need, you know, even when I'm wearing slacks, I need a longer jacket, right? So if you are going to sell something that is, you know, boob tube like as a jacket, I won't buy. So you need to understand what people want and give them that as a product in your line. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We've got QR codes for our attendants, so please just scan it, and then you fill in your details on that one. I saw a question over there. All right. And then?
Sorry, it's not a question.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a marketplace and it's also a church. So I got the conviction that I should tell Tofara that I follow a lot, not deliberately, but as I go on Facebook, her page just pops up. Okay. So I appreciate the amazing work.
Wow.
Probably it speaks to consistency.
Sure.
As we are in church in Angonot, it can be seen if I don't mention that. I don't know what it will do to you.
Thank you so much.
That's all right. Thank you very much. And then to the next people, maybe let's keep it marketplace, right? All right. Now, there is another problem, right? We are addressing these. Like I said, now you know why some people know why they think they were not getting sales. And then we also have another problem. 200 views, 3 likes, 0 sales. All right? Or 4 views. Maybe this is TikTok. I posted clean profile and everything. My bio is actually correct. All right? And then I post on TikTok. The only views that I'm managing, all right, at most it's 40. How best can I upgrade that?
Okay. As you were talking, you need to understand that people online have stages that they go through with you until they convert, right? For example, the first stage is the awareness. People don't know you. They have never interacted with you. The moment that you post, don't expect a sale. Why? People will see and get to know about you. And I think when we are doing content creation in detail, we say at some point you just need to create content for people to know about you, for people that are in the awareness stage to know about you. Don't expect a sale, right? Then the next stage now is where people now know about you, but they need to sort of buy into what you do. They need to have a stage where they make a decision. Why? Because you are not the first one. I still remember when Mr. Chingo was launched. We are a Proton, family. And when Mr. Chingo was launched, because of their rigorous marketing, we wanted to test Mr. Chingwa. And we went to Mr. Chingwa and we discovered, no, Mr. Chingwa, let's stick to our Proton, right? So not to say the bread was not nice, but we are just saying we were used to that certain brand. So you need to understand that after people know about you, they are going to do comparisons. They are going to mix and match from people that they have been buying from you, and you are coming in. Why should they make a decision to start buying from you? So which means that is why you see some will sell maybe after conversion, but people are not going to come back. So it's a stage where people are moving from awareness and making a decision to buy from you. Okay, they've bought from you. How are you going to retain them as well? Right? You need to have also a way of luring people with content to retain them. And at some point, they should advocate for your brand. Those are stages that I'm talking about, right? So it's not about just posting today, having a lot of views and getting a sale. It's about moving with your clients from awareness until they make a decision to pay, until they advocate for your brand and you retain them. It's a cycle and a cycle. So I think that is what I can say on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
And then, and then there is this point. Maybe I've actually marketed this time, Swabuda, 5,000 views, 100,000 views, all right? And people are actually inquiring, but then they hang in the inquiry zone. They are not converted. What's the direct procedure for conversion, lead conversion? Or I've flighted my ad and it's actually responding. All right, let's say 7,000 leads, 700 or even 70. But then there are still leads. Hello, can I get more info on this? How best can I convert them to money?
To paying customers. Okay, so it's all about how you nurture the relationship, right? So for example, you get your lady, you are maybe trying to convince her to become your wife. That's the same thing that happens when you are on social media. You get a lead, you work with that lead until they convert into a paying customer. But one thing that helps you to convert is the relationship that you build with that person, right? The testimonials that are coming from the previous work that you are doing can also help you to convert. The stories that you share. The reason why I tell my stories all the time is I want people to understand that it's not about just social media. It's about life being changed. It's about the impact. It's about my story and how I value the movement, from grassroots to where I am now. So it's all about convincing, but the convincing should come as a result of stories and nurturing of a relationship with the person. So without nurturing, without stories, without testimonials, chances are very high that you're not going to get any conversion.
Which means if I am choosing to go professional with my name, it means whatever I'm going to do has to be now customer friendly,
yes,
user friendly.
Yes.
Come on, let's put our hands together for her. So I hope tabatsirikana also, so what we are breaking down in simple trukuti, a business account, ngaive a business what? Account, all right? Kana iri apparels on TikTok, let's post what? Apparels. Ndisho andisika? Exactly. Thank you very much. Now we are moving on, and it's enough with the questions, all right? Someone who is saying, I tried kuvura social media ndikatotadza. Kune vanhu vati havana ma-social media tasina kuzobvunza kuti why? Tasina kuzobvunza. Have you tried? Svikatoramba. All right, someone who has been using our platform is Tofara, who has been using social media effectively for 5 years, or for 2 years, or for 3 years. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. You too, mambo zorora. All right, you too. All right, I saw a hand at the back. All right. We have been using social media effectively. All right.
Hello everyone, my name is Alan Munyika, and in Angu it's not a question, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, giving us this knowledge for free. Like, I was talking to a guy online, he's big online, and I asked him how much it would cost me to just talk to him for 1 hour to learn something. He said it's actually $10,000 for just 1 hour. So I just want to say thank you. This is amazing, and God bless you for that.
All right. So thank you very much. In this moment in time, Tishatora a short break, and then we'll come back inside na 12. So we go outside, or we can be there, Patiri Ipapapo, get some numbers, ask and expect. You know the people that already say it's working for them. You know the people that say they need help, please help each other. We come back at exactly 5 to 12, and then we will resume with another session that is going to be on tax compliance for businesses. Come on, let's put our hands together for Tofara. And one more time for Doc. It's a question. All right, we can take that.
Okay, thank you. My name is Wisdom. I wanted to ask, what if I'm a person who's always planning but then lacking initiative, like taking that first step? What do I do? How do I move from that stage?
All right, Doc. Apostle. All right.
All right. So my first response to me was, you should come to me and I'll give you a 1 clap so that you can be motivated. Look, it means, look, a lot of people die in the valley of planning. And so you're not the only one. But what you need, that's why you need an accountability person. That's why you need somebody called a mentor. Because mentorship is somebody who then takes you through the pace and gives you the pressure for you to perform. A lot of us, we are not performing, not because we are not good people, but because on our own, we don't have the discipline to get the job done. All right? And it's not that you've got a demon or you've got anything. No, no, no. It's normal human psychology. That's why you see that all high-performing individuals, they've got somebody who is coaching them. They've got a mentor because they hold you accountable. So the reason why you plan and get nothing done, because you're not accountable to anybody. Well, I just one, so you postpone. But if you are accountable to me, I'll call you and say, where is it? Don't come to me and I'll come to your house. You get what I'm saying? And make sure that the things gets done. So it's putting yourself in a position for you to be a performer. So right now you are not a performer because you have not put yourself under authority for you to be able to what? To perform. At this level, I'm under Bishop Tudor Bismarck. I report to him every month. Once a month, we've got 2 hours where I sit and report everything. So even the things that we are doing, We are moving to the new facility in 90 days. We have put ourselves, that's a lot of pressure. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes when you have to put deadlines, you have to put pressure on yourself, you have to do the things that motivate you, but it's important to get somebody who beats you at the what? At the back for you to perform. That would be my answer for you. All right? Okay.
All right, thank you. Come on, let's put our hands together for him. So you've got the answers. The choice is yours. You can either go for the Mpama or for the accountability partner, right? All right, let's just excuse them. And then I will then have our break, our short break. Let's come back inside at 5:02, and then at 12 exactly, we get back to our seminar. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, are we still in the house? All right. So I just want to do another quick roll call again. How many in the house have businesses? Businesses. I have a business. Thank you very much. How many in the house have registered businesses? Okay, thank you very much. How many in the house are actually up to date with their tax? Don't worry, I'm not from Zinara. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Come on, let's just put our hands together for talk. Okay. So if I am to teach you on tax compliance for businesses, I would definitely tell you that dondo. So I'm not going to do that, all right? How many want to learn about it? Beautiful. So it would be nice if I then call upon a person who knows what she will be talking about if she is teaching you on tax compliance for businesses. Beautiful. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you a lady who is a business and tax consultant under M&J. You know the group, the famous group that are behind the books, the chartered vendor, Sales Equals Mujolo, working under Jerim Nyanzungu, and she's got over 10 years of experience in the statutory compliance and company structuring industry. So ladies and gentlemen, I want us to all stand to our feet and welcome to the podium Ms. Fadzai Paraguay.
Hello, everyone. You may take your seats. All right. As the intro said, my name is Fadzai. I'm a business consultant under M&J Group Africa with over 10 years experience in statutory compliance as well as business structuring. So the lesson that I'm going to take you through today is starting from business structuring. I noticed that when the MC was asking how many people have businesses, we had a few hands that were up. How many have registered businesses? The hands got a bit lower. How many are up to date with their tax compliances? I think we had about 3 people. So I'm just going to take you through right from how do you start structuring your business, how do you register it, how do you register for tax, and how do you remain compliant. So we'll start with the company structuring, media. Next slide, thank you. Next one. Okay. So where we want to start as a business person, we've got a lot of people that have started their hustles. I'm saying hustles because on the streets we are saying Driku hustler, which is good. So what we are saying here is you can start your flea market, you can start your detergents manufacturing, you can start your consultancy probably as a postgraduate, but what matters is having your business formalized. And then someone may ask me, how then do I get my business formalized? So making your business official is basically protecting it. This is the foundation. This is where you start at. So the beginning is what we call company registration. Next slide, please. So company registration makes you legal as a business person. It helps you to sign contracts, open business account. You are now eligible to even deal with other corporates. You become eligible for bigger deals. It also helps you to access finance, that is funding or loans, and it will also help you to win business. So in Zimbabwe, we've got two types of businesses. Next slide, media. We've got two types of businesses that one can register. We've got what we call a private business corporation, PBC, and we've got a private limited company. So any business person can register either, but we've got advantages and disadvantages for each. A PBC was generally designed for sole traders. People that are starting in business, you're still just one person, you can start off with a PBC. So under a PBC, we need a minimum of one person up to 20 members. So it means that if you're just one in your business, you are eligible to register for a PBC. So a PBC is simple and it's fast to set up. However, what happens with the PBC, everyone is just regarded as a member. We do not have shareholders, we do not have directors. So you're not going to have a certain stake to say, I've got 50% shares in this business. However, the good side of this business is if you start off as a PBC, you can then get to upgrade to a private limited later. You are not just going to remain a PBC for life. The second one would be what we call a private limited company. So for a private limited, you can have a minimum of one shareholder to 50 shareholders. So if you are two people coming into business together, you can register a private limited. You can also register a PBC, but like I said, there won't be segregation of duties to say, these are the shareholders and these are the directors. Someone may ask, what are shareholders? So shareholders are the people that are owning a stake in the company, someone that is owning a piece of the cake. And then directors are now there to make sure that the day-to-day runnings of the business are moving forward. Next slide. So when it comes to the advantages of a PBC, one, it's fast to set up, it's also cheaper to set up, and there's minimum admin and paperwork, and there's also limited liability protection. However, the protection is a bit smaller than when it comes to private limited. The disadvantages now is you as an individual can't be separated for your business. So when we are coming after your business, it simply means that we are coming for the individual. There is no what we call a separate legal entity. A separate legal entity basically means that we've got Fadzai Investments as a company. This entity is separate from Fadzai Paradzai as an individual. But in a sole trader, these two can be interused and it's still one person. Next slide. And then for private limited now, we do have the segregation of duties like I told you. We've got our shareholders and then the directors. So as one person, you can own 100% of this company. Many consultants out there actually tell people that you need a minimum of 2 people to register private limited, but that's not true. Even if you're one person, you can register. But when it comes to the directors now, that's where we will need a minimum of 2 people that will direct the company. So when you register either a private business corporation or a private limited, you're going to have 2 company documents. These are what we call an entity summary document and a certificate of incorporation. An entity summary document is basically summarizing everything about the company. One, what's the business objective? Why do you exist as an entity? We are also going to summarize where's the business address, what's the email address, who are the shareholders, who are the directors. The certificate of incorporation is basically, we can call it the birth certificate for the company. So you have your two documents, either as a PBC or as a private limited. Some of you probably have registered their companies way before. If you registered your company before March of 2024, you probably have 5 documents. These are the old documents that used to be issued. But with the new law now, you're expected to go through what we call re-registration, that is digitalization, for you to get the 2 documents that I'm talking about. So this was just the foundation. Next slide. Okay, next one as well. Okay, so the certificate of incorporation and the entity summary is what I explained. If you're going to be setting up as a private business corporation, your certificate will be written PBC, and if it's a private limited company, the certificate is also going to specify that this is a private limited company. Let's move next. Okay, some of you probably got into business as partners. Probably it's a friend, probably it's a brother. You're already in business, but you never really had a proper agreement to say, how are we going to be functioning in this business? How are we going to be moving? There is what we call a shareholders agreement. So a shareholders agreement is basically a document that is going to be governing the terms of the partnership. So if you haven't started your business as yet, and you're looking forward to partnering with someone, a shareholders agreement is coming into play where you're going to hold hands with your friend and you're saying, let's get into business together. Where you're probably going to register with your brother, your sister, or anyone for the purposes of business. Someone can say, this is my sister we're talking about, or my brother that we are talking about. But truth be told, when it comes to business, it's business. Those relationships actually have to be differentiated. So we've got what we call a shareholders agreement, which is the governing document. So the shareholders agreement is basically spelling out how the partnership is going to be going. It's going to spell out what each person is going to contribute, as well as what each person is going to get. So one, we'll have our contribution. What are you contributing? Is it capital? Is it knowledge? How are we going to be sharing the profits as well? So it will come with different types of clauses. So the clauses now is what are going to be protecting us. Maybe we are saying, as we move along in business, we are now a big entity. One may say, I now want to exit the business. The shareholders agreement is going to protect us because it would have already spelled out what happens when one now wants to leave the partnership. When you're leaving the partnership, we've got what we call the right of first refusal. Those are some of the clauses that you get to put. You can also get to include what happens when one partner gets incapacitated. Probably you've been involved in an accident, probably you suffer a stroke. What's going to happen to your shares? How are you going to be represented in a company? It's also going to spell out to say when we are splitting, suppose the partnership is not working and we now want to split, how are we going to do it? Maybe you now feel that I no longer want to be part of this business and I want to exit, I want to sell these shares. So it will now cover us to say, how are you going to do it? Who are you going to first approach before you get to bring in 10 more Chinese people into the business? Who are you going to first approach? It will even go further to say, when we've got issues, probably we've got a dispute within the partnership, how are we going to handle? If you are churchgoers, probably going to the same church, you can say the first port of call is to go to the pastors, and then they try to mediate. Second port of call, we go to our business advisor. Third, we then go to the courts. So those are the things that can be included in a shareholders agreement. So what I would advise you is, if you are getting in business with anyone, be it family, be it a friend, be it a churchmate, make sure that you're well protected with a shareholders agreement. So this is just a simple document. It's not complicated, but it's just spelling out how we're going to be doing the business. When we are getting in business, we are all excited. We are thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make so much money. Yes, you can be a millionaire, that's very true. But I would advise you to rather protect yourself now when you're starting, when we've got zero, we don't have anything, rather than later when we now have so many trucks in the business, we now have so many assets, we now have properties. The foundation needs to be laid right from the get-go. I'm not sure if we're together there. All right, thank you so much. So if you're already in business with your partner, introduce the conversation now. Let's have a shareholders agreement so that we are all protected. It's not going to protect the minority, it's not going to protect the majority shareholder, but to protect everyone that is in business. Next slide. Okay. I'm sure most of you have also heard about what we call a family trust. So family trust is basically a legal way where you can set up a moving vehicle that can protect your assets or protect your properties. So we are basically keeping the family assets in a safe way, and we can have succession planning. We can move these properties from generation to generation. Someone may want to know, what exactly does a family trust get to benefit? So in a trust, the way it's structured now, let's go to the next slide so that I explain clearly. The way it's structured is, we've got a founder, we've got a trustee, we've got a beneficiary. One may want to know why I'm introducing this topic when you're talking about company structuring. If you are planning on building an empire that is going to be kept within the family, that is going to move from generation to generation, you would rather set up your company being owned by a trust. So a trust, like I said, will have the founder, which is you, by the way. You are the founder. We'll now have trustees. Trustees are basically the directors. When it's a company, we've got the directors. When it's a family trust, these are the trustees. So trustees are there to make sure that whatever has been spelled out in a family trust is happening as expected. And then we'll have the beneficiaries. So beneficiaries, these are the people that you want to benefit directly from the proceeds of the company as well as the proceeds of a trust. How many have ever heard about a family trust before? Okay, we've got quite a handful. Okay, so a family trust doesn't necessarily give anyone the right to own what is put in a trust. It's basically giving us a leeway to have everyone benefiting equally. So as business owners, I would want everyone to be clever in the sense that we are not going to keep our things in our individual names. We are not going to maintain the company in our individual names, but would rather have a trust. How is the trust going to help you? For starters, you can get to set the succession planning in a trust. Who can be the next MD of the organization? What sort of criteria are they supposed to meet? Probably you're saying we need someone with an appreciation in business. Probably you're saying we need someone who is able to comprehend business language, someone who have done a normal, maybe a diploma, certificate, or who has passed their O-level. That's all you're just setting out. If you're going to be putting your properties in a trust, you're basically going to put clauses that include that probably I don't want this house in Glenlawn to be sold until the 10th generation. Or as soon as I'm dead, you liquidate all my assets and people get to share. But that's what we are trying to avoid. Many may want to liken it to a will, but the difference now is that a will gives ultimate ownership to the people that have been left to succeed the estate or to get the deceased estate. But with the trust now, it's a moving vehicle. It goes on and on. When the founder is normal, it's not going to affect anyone. We are not going to go through the deceased estate route, but basically the beneficiaries remain the same people who are going to get the profit share, the same people who are going to get rental income or whatever income from the profits. So if you are a business person and you're setting up your company, you would also consider having the trust so that you already have yourself protected. You already have whatever you're going to acquire in future well protected. One may want to know if a trust is only going to own one company. No, a trust can be a shareholder in different companies. So you can have 5 companies all owned by the trust. We can also have different properties all owned by the trust. Someone might be asking again to say, I've seen an article where Zimra was saying that they are coming after the trust to make sure that they are taxed. We'll then give you advisory on how best you can plan around the tax planning so that we reduce the tax liability legally. Don't quote me wrong. We are going to be doing our tax planning legally. So we will help you with the advisory on how best you can get to structure the trust, how best you can have the properties, you can have the companies also included in the trust. Let's have the next slide. Media, next slide. Maybe they're sleeping. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you have set up your company. You now have your company documents. Either it's in a trust or it's in your individual name. We've got what we call annual returns. So annual returns are your ongoing duty as a company owner. Annual returns should be submitted yearly. This is the document that is basically confirming that the business is still in existence. The details that you submitted prior are still the same, or probably they have changed. Did you change an address? Did you change the shareholders? So it's just going to state who are the current shareholders. Did we make any amendments? Who are the current directors? Did we also make any amendments? Do we still have the same address that we always had, or something have changed? So these are due within the first 30 days from the incorporation anniversary. By incorporation anniversary, we are saying your company has been registered, probably it was the 5th of July 2026. 30 days before the anniversary of the next year, we are going to be expected to file your annual returns. Some may go for years without submitting these annual returns, but there are certain risks that come, especially with the new digitization that happened. You risk getting strike off from the registrar's office. So it's an ongoing duty for those who already have their companies registered. Make sure that you're submitting your annual returns each and every year. They're very cheap. It's just an obligation that you do once a year. Mind you, this return is not going to Zimra, because I know most of you associate returns with Zimra. But these returns are going to the registrar of companies. If you don't file, your company risks being stricken off, and also the reinstatement of that also becomes expensive because it's coming in with penalties. I hope we all understood. Let's move to the next slide. Okay. Now we're moving to the core of my lesson. I was taking you through how to structure a company, how to register it, so that for those who haven't registered, they clearly understand what needs to be done. They need to understand how best you can get to structure the company. So after you register your company, you are then expected to register for tax within the first 30 days from incorporation. So when you register for tax, you get what we call a TIN certificate. This is just your tax identification number. It's like your unique number for the company to authorize or to authenticate that you are now a registered entity for taxes. Let's have the next slide. Okay, so there are 3 core taxes that I want you to understand for those that are already in business, as well as for those that are planning to be in business. So the 3 taxes that I want you to understand are pay as you earn, income tax, and value-added tax. So pay as you earn is basically taxes on the remuneration of your employees. Remuneration, we mean salaries. Remuneration, we mean allowances. Zimra even goes further to want to tax the vehicles that you're using if it's from the business, the cell phones that you're using even if it's from the business. But then most of the people normally focus on the allowances. So pay as you earn is calculated monthly. So if you are a business person and you've got employees, you're supposed to remit this return every single month. By the 5th of the following month, you're submitting the pay as you earn. And then there is also what we call income tax. So income tax would be tax on your profits. So from inception, when you register, you are subscribed for 2 tax heads: the pay as you earn, as well as the income tax. Income tax is tax on your profits, and it's broken down into 4 quarters. We've got the first QPD, second QPD, third QPD 4, which means you're submitting each and every 3 months. The 5th one now is the actual calculation, which is what we call the ITF 12C. So the QPDs were basically designed so that we can lessen the burden during the course of the tax year. We are lessening the burden, we are estimating or anticipating how much we're going to get. You then remit what you think you're supposed to pay. But when it comes to the end of the tax year or the financial year, you're now expected to calculate the actual, and then you pay the difference. I don't want to get too much deep into it because it might end up confusing you. The third tax head now is value-added tax. So value-added tax is currently at the rate of 15.5, but value-added tax is not for each and every person who is in business. You can only get to register for value-added tax when you get to reach a threshold of $25,000 in a period of 12 months. If you are trading in ZIG, you also need to register for VAT once you reach the equivalent of $25,000 in a period of 12 months. So 12 months, we are saying if it's July that you started business, by next July, if your sales have gone beyond 25,000, you should register for VAT. So when you're registering for VAT, we've got 2. 1, the voluntary registration. So voluntary registration is for the Christians like us. Voluntary registration is for the people that are honest. Voluntary registration is for someone who is saying, my sales are already past the 25,000, or I'm fast approaching the $25,000 mark and I need to register for VAT before the taxman comes knocking on your door. The second one is mandatory. You wouldn't want to go through mandatory registration. So mandatory registration is when you pass through the mark, the 25,000 threshold, and then you don't volunteer. You don't volunteer to ZIMRA to say, I've reached the mark and I now need to register. Let's move. Okay. All right. So when you register for tax, you get your tax clearance, like I said. But then we also have those business people that get into business, they've got their company documents, straight up, they start trading without registering for tax. We've got what we call withholding tax. So withholding tax comes into play if you are in business and you're not compliant. 1, you do not have an up-to-date tax clearance. 2, you haven't even registered for tax right from the onset. So withholding tax comes when you want to deal with someone and they're now supposed to pay you. This is where it gets to affect you as a business person. When they're now supposed to pay you, they ask you to produce your tax clearance, valid tax clearance. If you fail to provide the valid tax clearance, ZIMRA allows them to withhold 30% of the total payment that they're supposed to give you. So what we are urging each and everyone that is here is, if you've got your running business, make sure your tax clearance is up to date each and every time. If you are in business and you didn't even bother registering for tax from the onset, make sure that you also get to register, you get to be compliant, and you also get your tax clearance. Because what you wouldn't want is you get to deal with different corporates, and when they now want to pay you, they then get to withhold the 30%. It simply means that you are the one who is going to be at a disadvantage. Next slide, media. Okay. So when ZIMRA comes on your door and you've got your tax clearance, but you haven't been compliant. You've got your tax clearance, but you haven't been submitting your tax returns. You are already on their bedside. Why? Because when you registered for tax, you were basically opening up to say, I'm now in business, and I'm going to be remitting my taxes on time. So what we urge is, as soon as you register for tax and you're now in business, remain compliant so that you don't attract the withholding tax, and you're also on the good side for the taxman. So when ZIMRA comes knocking on your door and you haven't been compliant, probably you haven't registered right from the onset, they've got the powers to backdate you from when you started operating. How they backdate now, they're not going to go through your books or to go through your files to say how much revenue did you generate or how much were your expenses. They will now start using what we call industry standards. So they're basically saying if you're into solar, probably you're a small company that just started and you're into solar, but you haven't been compliant. When ZIMRA comes and you fail to show them your documentation or you fail to show them how you've been submitting your returns, they are going to use the industry standard for the big giants. So it means that you're going to be at a disadvantage as a business person. So you would want by each and every time to make sure that your returns are up to date, your tax clearance is also renewed on time. Okay. Like I said that time when I was introducing the taxes, we've got what we call VAT, and you only get to register when you get to 25,000 in a 12-month period. So what counts as revenue or what attracts value-added tax is total sales of goods or services or products or that you get to sell to your customers. So this is what we get to calculate for VAT. Any other income that the business earns, be it from your core business or any other income that you get separately, for as long as it's coming into the business, it's liable for tax. So this tax is not going to go on your profits. It's also not going to go on your gross sales only. You are also allowed to deduct your expenses so that you get to pay less. Let's have the next slide. Okay. So this is what happens when we are calculating for VAT. We've got the sales that we made when we're selling to our customers. Probably, let's assume it's 100,000. When we've got 100,000 that we sold, 15.5 of that is supposed to be ZIMRA's money. But then now, ZIMRA is quite lenient to say, we are not going to take all the 15.5% and say it's ours. You were also buying from other people, from your suppliers. Probably you were buying machinery, you were buying your stationery for your day-to-day tasks. ZIMRA is saying when you buy from those people and you're VAT registered, also declare to them that I am VAT registered and you need to give me a fiscalized invoice. So it means that the tax that we are going to calculate from your sales, you then get to subtract the tax that your suppliers withheld when you are buying from them. So it only means that you're only getting to pay the difference. Suppose you sell 100,000 and the 15.5 of that is what you're supposed to pay to ZIMRA. But then remember, you also bought the goods that you sold for 100,000. You also probably bought them for 50,000. So the 15.5 of that is what ZIMRA is saying we are going to deduct from how much you're supposed to pay us, and then you only get to pay the difference. Okay, so once you register for VAT, you're also expected to go through what we call fiscalization. So fiscalization is basically a way so that ZIMRA gets to see what is happening in your business. ZIMRA gets to know how much sales you've been remitting or how much sales you've been getting as a business. So fiscalization is you getting to declare each and every sale that comes through to ZIMRA. So for everyone who gets to register for value-added tax, fiscalization is mandatory. It's not an option. Someone may say that the moment I've got fiscalization, it means that ZIMRA is all up in your business. No, they're not all up in your business, but they just want to help you to remain compliant. Because the temptation that is there is, if they are not monitoring how your business is doing, the temptation that is there is you're probably going to eat the taxman's money. So fiscalization is just there so that ZIMRA gets to monitor how you're selling and how much revenue you're also getting. What you need to understand if you are VAT registered is VAT is not your money, like I highlighted. So this is just a simple example that I put up so that you get to understand how the calculations are done. You buy stocks from your supplier at $90, and you also get to sell to your customer at $100. The VAT inside your $90 purchase is only $12.08, and the VAT inside your 100 sell is $13.42. So Zimra is saying you are paying the difference. You are not going to remit the total $13.42 like what most of you might think. So the key insight is the tax that you are paying is only the tax that is on your markup, not the tax on the gross sales. I hope you all understand the mechanics there. Okay. So your taxes, like I said, for income tax is QPD. For VAT, we've got 4 categories. We've got category A, category B, category C, and category D. Category A and B are mainly for small to medium enterprises. Category A submit bi-monthly, as well as category B. But the month gets to interchange to say, if category A is starting December, January, category B will start January, February. And then for category C now, you're supposed to submit your VAT return each and every month. So it simply means that by the 15th of the following month, you're supposed to have submitted your return for VAT. And then category D is a special arrangement, mainly for the big giants that are in business, for the big corporates, where you actually get approval from the commissioner to say you can submit your taxes probably after 3 months or after 4 months. It's a special arrangement. But for some of us, all SMEs, we are going to be registering and probably get allocated to category A, B, or C. Okay. If you are a business person, you are also going to be taxed on your profits, the dividend. Remember, I said income tax is tax on your profits. We also have what we call dividend. So dividend is you getting your profit share from the business. So Zimra is saying, as a shareholder, you are not just going to get all your money and then you go. You are liable to what we call 15% withholding tax. Most business people seem to be ignoring this withholding tax on dividends because all they do is, oh, you made 1,000 profit, give me all the 1,000 profit, I'm going to buy myself things. You made 100,000, give me the whole 100,000 and I'm going to get myself a house in Glenlawn. But the taxman is saying, for as much as you are going to be getting a dividend or a profit share as a shareholder, you're supposed to withhold 15% and then you remit that to Zimra. So what happens is if you get to evade this type of a tax, when Zimra comes through to audit or comes through to go through your files or your papers, they want to know that as a shareholder, what have you been getting? Someone can say, I've been getting a salary. Yes, as a director, you can get a salary, but as a shareholder, all you get is a dividend. So it means that the 15% should be remitted to Zimra. Okay. If you are an executive director, probably you are coming to work each and every day. It's your business, but you're also coming to work each and every day. You are what we call an executive director. So for an executive director, you're supposed to be getting a salary. You are on payroll. So if you're getting a salary, it means that the tax that you're going to be remitting is pay as you earn, which is what I said. These are the taxes that are calculated on the remuneration of the employees. But the moment you say, I'm now going to get my dividend, be it per quarter, be it a half year, be it after a year or after 5 years, you're supposed to remit the dividend tax. I hope we're together there. Okay. So the salary for the directors is taxed pay as you earn, and then the dividend is tax withholding tax. Make sure that these two are separated. You can't be able to use them interchangeably. My time is running out, so I'm just going to rush through. Okay. So I've been talking about calculating taxes. I've been educating you about what the taxes are. There are actually legal ways to get to reduce the tax liability. What we are saying is on tax on your profits, you are not just going to remit everything at once. There is what we call tax planning. So tax planning is the legal way for you to reduce your tax liability legally. Tax liability was supposed to be $1,000. I'm now reducing it to $50. How? I'm not going to underdeclare my sales. I'm not going to come up with fictitious expenses so that I can reduce the tax. But we've got ways that you can get to reduce the tax. So these ways include putting allowable expenses. So allowable expenses are expenses that ZIMRA deems as normal. ZIMRA deems as any other expense that a business gets to incur. And then we also have capital allowances. Many people in the streets get to tell each other to say, if you buy an asset, you shouldn't include it in the company. But that is actually wrong. The moment you get to include your asset in your company, you're actually reducing your tax. How are you going to do that? I buy my motor vehicle for $10,000. It's under the company, Fadzai Investments, let's take for example. I'm supposed to be paying income tax at the end of the year. I'm supposed to be paying taxes for $20,000. So ZIMRA allows me to use what we call capital allowances. Capital allowances allows you to track, to claim the asset for either 3 years or 4 years. If it's 3 years, you're basically claiming 50% of the asset in the first year, and then you spread the other 50 in 2 years. So it would be 50, 25, 25. So in the first year, I'm going to be getting 50% of that 50,000 vehicle that I bought, which is 7,500. Where I was supposed to be paying 20,000, I'm now paying the difference. If you spread the assets in 4 years, it means that you're going to be claiming 25% of the total value for each and every year. So it simply means that where I was supposed to be paying 20,000 in tax, I'm going to be paying 25% less of the total asset value. So these are ways that you can get to use that gets to reduce your tax. So when you're getting assets, do not get people misleading you to say, do not put your assets in the company. You can get to include them and they actually get to lower your tax burden. Okay, so tax planning is not evasion. Evasion is you under-declaring your sales. Evasion is you coming up with fictitious expenses. Where your rent was supposed to be $50, you declare to ZIMRA that my rent was $500. That is wrong and not legal. By the time ZIMRA gets to catch up on that, it simply means that you're going to have penalties and you're most likely going to face fines as well as prosecution. Further, the act says you get imprisonment, but I haven't seen anyone who has been imprisoned, though the act says you get imprisonment. Tax planning now on the other side is legal. So it simply means that you are claiming all your legitimate allowable expenses. You are claiming what is yours. You are not lying to ZIMRA and you're also not misleading the taxman. So the habits of a smart taxpayer is one, you make sure that your expenses are well filed. You plan them accordingly. You also make sure that you review all your expenses. Before the submission of your returns, you go through to see if all your expenses are captured. You also plan for capital before the tax year. So planning for capital means you're planning for the assets that you're going to buy. You know that by trend, mostly I pay tax around 20,000. So it means that if I buy a motor vehicle or if I buy a house for 20,000, I'm going to be able to claim 50% of that. So in this year, I'm only going to pay 10,000. So this is planning that you're doing that is proactive and not reactionary. Reactionary is you realizing that you're supposed to pay more and you now want to see how best you can lower the burden. That's where the temptation comes in to under-declare the sales. That's where the temptation also comes in to come up with fictitious expenses. But if you are proactive, it simply means that you're planning ahead. Before you get to see how much tax you're going to be getting, you analyze your trend, you then get to plan ahead. Okay. So as a business person, we are urging each other to say the returns that you're submitting is not just for you to get your tax clearance. Most people only realize that they need to be submitting returns when it's time to renew the tax clearance. Like this season that we are already in, most tax clearances expired 30 June, 3, 5, etc. But then what we are saying is, as a responsible business person, as a responsible person, it's your duty to make sure that your taxes are going monthly, they are going quarterly, they are going annually, so that it doesn't have to be reactionary in nature to say at the end of the tax clearance validity, that's when you realize that I didn't submit the returns. Mind you, by virtue of you not submitting the returns, it simply means that the system is going to calculate automatic penalties on you. It simply means that you can even get a shorter validity period for the tax clearance just because you haven't been compliant. So let's just make sure that we all avoid that, we remain compliant, and we make sure that the returns are going on time. In closing, I would want to encourage each and everyone to maintain their tax filing calendar. So tax filing calendar is what I'm showing on the screen there. But then also, if you get into your ZIMRA portal, there is a platform that says tax calendar. The moment you click on that, it tells you when your pay as you earn is falling due. It also gets to tell you when your QPD is falling due. So this is not rocket science. It's there on the portal. You get to see when the dates are coming through, when you're supposed to be calculating your QPDs. Most of you are being misled by tax consultants saying that these things are very difficult to calculate, or probably the tax calendar is something that is complicated. It's way straightforward. Just as a business person, make sure that you've got an appreciation of how the ZIMRA portal works. You're not going to be calculating in detail, but you just need to know, when are my taxes falling due? Has the return even been submitted? If you get into the portal, you actually see that there is a section that says pending returns. If you click on that, it will actually tell you that your consultant hasn't been submitting the returns. So you will actually be able to call them to say, why haven't you submitted my second QPD? Why haven't been submitting my pay as you earn? So as a business person, make sure that you are a clever business person and you know your tax calendar. You get to remind the tax consultant when the tax is fall due, and you also get to make your payments on time. Okay. As a business person, make sure that the record keeping is done thoroughly. Record keeping, I'm talking of your invoices, make sure that they are filed. I'm talking of your supplier invoices, make sure that they are filed. The financials that your tax consultant is preparing, also make sure that they are filed. One may say, I'm still a small business and all I'm doing is giving my tax consultant information and they calculate. Whatever that they are submitting, make sure that you've got a trail, you've got a track record of what exactly they've been using, how did they get to come up to this $20 that you're paying. So record keeping is a must for each and every business person. If you don't want our traditional files, the box files, the flat files, you can keep a digital file. For as long as we've got supporting records for the calculations, supporting records for what you submitted, you're good to go and you're okay with the authorities. Thank you.
All right, all right, all right. Come on, somebody, let's make some noise for Imbai. Fadzai. All right. That was quite a lesson, wasn't it? Come on, one more time. Let's put our hands together for here. A lot of takeaway notes, but we are moving on to question and answer. So I'm going to give one mic to you, and then we give the other one to Mr. Jerry, and then you can just help each other in the questions and answers. So everybody with a question, please raise your hand. Let's keep it precise like we were doing in the previous session.
Good afternoon. My name is Besaida Maoba, and my business is Cherubim Collectives. It's a very, very small business. So I'm actually thinking about getting a loan so I can start up the business. So I'm selling, the body butters for selling, it's bit by bit. So I want to know, especially about the taxes, is when is the right time I can, go and register with ZIMRA, and do I wait until I make more than 500, or how much as a small business do I need to wait, like how long do I need to wait until I start filing for taxes?
All right. So if you are in business, the moment you register your company, you get incorporated, you're expected to register for tax within the first 30 days. So registering for ZIMRA doesn't necessarily mean that you're making money. If you're not yet trading, they allow you to submit 0 returns. If you are trading but at a loss, you're also allowed to submit negatives because you're not yet making a profit, so there's nothing to tax. So we are not going to wait until you get to 500, but we're just going to register. For as long as you're incorporated, ZIMRA expects you to register. And then about you being eligible for a loan, there are several facilities that come from banks. There are some that get to fund greenfields or new businesses. And then there are also some that wants to fund businesses that are already in existence. So it then depends with the funder that you would have approached, whether it's a microfinance or with just our own normal banks like our CBZ, our Stanbic, that they get to decide whether you're eligible for a loan or not. But what you need to make sure that you have are your company documents and your tax clearance as well as your business plan, because they always get to look for that. There are other requirements, but those are the basics that you should have. All right.
Okay, thank you. Next question. There is a hand in the back.
My name is Kumbirai Kuchena. I was following the proceedings in terms of tax compliance for businesses. And my question is, are there any tax incentives for private business corporation, and how do they submit, if they are required by law to submit their tax returns for private business corporation? That's my first question. Then my second question is related to family trusts, where there was the explanation concerning about businesses should be included in the family trust. How, as a family trust, should they handle affairs when it comes to taxes, and also how do they handle the affairs when it comes to even the, can a founder be a trustee, or can a founder be a beneficiary? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. So the first thing on the PBCs were started in 1993, and the intention of the government was to say those informal businesses were supposed to formalize. That's when informal sector started after getting independence. So they said they're going to bring a company which is easy to register. So if you're going to notice people with PBCs, it requires 1 to 20 members. By 1 to 20 members, I'm saying if you're a member, you're a director, you're both a director and a shareholder. As you know probably, a shareholder is the owner, a director is the senior employee in a company. But in a PBC, you are playing both roles. And the PBC also was done for the people. Mabachura was saying, I don't have any relative, I want just to register a company on my own. So you can do it as an individual, just 1 to 20 people. So one person can set up a company. A private limited, if you notice, you require 2 directors. So even if you're one shareholder, but you require what? 2 directors. In terms of the tax incentives, unfortunately in Zimbabwe, we are treated the same. That's what we are also trying to lobby to the government to say the small to medium enterprises must also have tax incentives. Because if you notice, if we are charged 25.75 as Stanbic, small businesses are also being charged the same. So that's the first part of the question. Then the second part of the family trust. Yes, a founder can also be a trustee. A founder can also be a beneficiary in certain circumstances. So why registering a trust, and what Fadzai was trying to explain is, if you've got a family trust, you've got an advantage, but don't lose the advantage. How you lose the advantage, if you notice right now, there's a circular which said, starting in July, which is now, ZIMRA is now coming after all the family trusts. Because why? They've noticed that most of the rich people, what they're doing, they are putting their houses and most of their wealth under trust. But how are you going to be exposed to ZIMRA? If let's say you've got a house in Budiriro, then if you're going to put your title deed in a family trust, you're going to be attacked by Zimra directly, because they just need to go to the registrar, to the deeds office, and they check the people with title deeds, because what they are looking for are rentals. Because remember, they say they are starting to look for what? Rentals, and charge people on rental taxes. This is not new. This was already in the law, but they've just starting to exercise their own right to what? To start collecting rental taxes and audit the trust, because trusts are also supposed to pay taxes in certain circumstances. But now, I want you guys to be wise and listen carefully. Instead of letting your family trust own a house directly, now your trust must own a company. Then your company owns a trust, own a house. So you are now letting, your trust is now the shareholder of the company. Then your company now owns the house. The biggest advantage is your trust is no longer trading directly. So your trust doesn't have to register with what? The taxman. So you're protecting yourself in a way, because your companies are the ones which are supposed to register the taxman. And another advantage is you can have one family trust, but you can have 20 properties with different company names if you want. So which means if this company gets into trouble, let's say this house now has a lot of liabilities. Those liabilities, they cannot be transferred to another house which is owned by another company. But the biggest mistake which was made by most of the people, they've got one family trust owning a lot of properties. So when Zimra is going to start attacking, those properties are in danger, because you are required to pay what? Rental taxes, because they are going to ask, you've got 20 properties, are you staying in all these properties? They are going to ask the what? Maintenance ariko kumba iko koko. So I'm simply saying in Shona, guys, trukuti susungatite ma family trust, and family trust I say muna ne mari state chete. Chino register once, and less than, I think it's 1,000 only, you can register a family trust, and they no gara for the lifetime. Unlike even my companies anonza anoende sama returns, trust arende sama return. Arisi even kana even utori bachura kana even uri single lady, vamwe vakomana vakutaimira mari kwamuri. Saka iwe ukagara wawandisa mari yako mutrust, wopinda uri iwewe, ungori nako mafoni ako, hauna kana property yese iri mutrust, iye achataimira, paada unobata kuti atadivorsa, ndakuda maproperty, achaona iwewe zvese zvakawanda zviri mutrust. Saka I encourage us kuti maZimbabweans, guys, vanhu vatema ngatitema trust, because most of the people they think ndezvevarungu. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing. Next question. Next question. Next question. There is a hand here.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernard. I own Mushafi Synergy Industrial Lubricant Company. So my question is, njatala neshona kuti kasiro nzwisisika. Ndanzwisa zviye VAT part. But then I have local suppliers for my lubricants. They give me an invoice and I get a VAT. But in answer, I'm eligible for VAT. So is there any way I shoot myself from that cost push VAT element? Could Pandino Tenge sign in is really market friendly?
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Jamuri munemu turne disadvantage because imi muri charge kwa VAT anditika, but imi mamuskuzono charge ochi VAT. Because imi midai mai charge VAT anditi, which means maizo claim amoti VAT output yenyu yamatengesa ne input ya yosara yamagunodi yamagunobadara. Unfortunately, imi mamutori na choice. Muri kunotongorowa. Nosaka sometimes vanhu vakawanda tine mistake yekudai so. I tell you, vanhu vakawanda tine mistake yekufungizira yekutiza Zimra, vakawanda vatobroka. Isusu we get a lot of companies every day kubasa kwedu. Vakawanda vatobroka Zimra yecho isinombovinga. And the difference yevarungu nesu ndeyekuti murungu anogara paperwork yake yese yaapa asati atanga business. Isi tinotsvaga paperwork kana tawana chijeti. Like imukazowana tender yakunzi tender rinoiri kuti kupe haukwanise kupinda kana usina VAT. Ndopama kuti Jerry asikwanise kuitika kana 24 hours ita magic. Hapana magic inoitika, ndopata kuita ma mistake. Saka sometimes ukada kutiza tax uri kutiza futi growth. Saka you cannot, unfortunately you can't grow without fulfilling zvinhu zvakaita sana VAT, because kune company chataura kuti asha isusu kudhile neveka, because right now iye anenge ada kuti akatengawo kwamuri handiti anonoclaimawo. Saka imi akatenga kwamuri musina VAT ari padisadvantage because haana kwekunodii kwekunoclaima. Isusu tinongokurudzira kuti itai zvetax but dhilai nemaconsultants anokugaidhai zvakanaka kuitira kuti musapinde maproblems. And another thing chiri kuitika chemakambani akawanda edu madiki, muri kungoenda na consultant wenyu obva ati shamwari andokubvunza kuti sha wangada kubhadhara mari, iwe obva wati 50 zonzi bho mudhara, iwe hatisi hakuna tax consultants akadaro. And the problem iri kuitika yakawanda tinongofunga kuti munhu ane accounts ndiye munhu wetax. Accounts netax animals two akatosiyana, two different professions. Saka zviroti mufana aita accounts use it apa akutogona tax. Ngatitsvagei vana mazvikokota vanogona zvetax, then we build our business, because the tax inotoita kuti business rigrow. Kuna vamwe vane mabusiness ekutoti vafa nemarefund ekutoti anoregister VAT ane zvinhu zvake zvine zviri zero rated, zimura inogona kutokubhadharai kana imimi matenga zvakawanda kudarika zvamatengesa neVAT, kana kuti zvacho hazvisi zviri zero rated, munotowana marefunds aripo. Saka ndokurudzira kuti ngatisatye zimura, ishamwari yedu, ngatitambei nayo tichijairana. Thank you.
All right, amazing. Next question, last question.
Hi, I'm back again. I wanted to find out examples of allowable expenses. So I've been putting like self-help books that I buy as expenses. Is that something that happens in Zim? So I've been working with South African companies. Yeah.
Okay, you said self-help books. Like
Yes.
if you buy a book from
Like
Jane.
currently I'm reading Rich by Angela Duckworth, and I put it as an expense under education.
Thank you so much. So my allowable, what you are simply saying with allowable deductions, you are saying these are things which are helping the organization. For example, if you put fuel in your car, if the car belongs to the company, it's an allowable. But if the car belongs to you, it's no longer what? An allowable. Because Zimura will say, tipe obhuku rechi remota, mota iri musita mangu. But the company in Isterayo, they will say, they will disallow that. Because they will say, you are now benefiting. What's the proof now to say you are using it for your company? So, allowable deductions, we are simply saying these are direct. Like for example, we've got drinks here, we've got water here. If it's for the company, it will be what? Deducted. But if you are now doing it for your house, it's no longer what? Deductible. So I know for most of the people who put even school fees for their children, Zimura will say, vana waswe company comrade, vana ndewani ndewaku. Saka they will disallow that. So if you go through my audits, like you can even have a cell phone, they also say, is the cell phone owned by the what? By the company, or the cell phone is owned by the what? By an individual. So my allowable, we're simply saying allowable deductions. These are expenses which you are using to generate what? Income in your business. Or for example, these are expenses. Rent house, yeah, obvious, with a business, you need what? To pay rent. You need to buy fuel, you need to buy stationery. All those are what? Are rental expenses, including that book. If you are using that book to educate yourself as the director, you proof it, but you need to buy it under a company. When you are getting the invoice and the receipt, it's supposed to have the name of the company, not your name. So we cannot it's your right, ma'am, to get into Pick and Pay and say, I want a tax invoice, and put it in my company name. It's your right. But most of us, we don't exercise that what? Right. It's your right to say, no, receipt, tax number, because I want to claim Kusimra. So we just need to do it properly when we are buying. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think there was a burning one over there. Was it a question? All right, we'll take that one for the last.
Yes, sorry, my name is Mitch. Just got in when you're finishing about companies owning trust, buying through a trust into a company. Does the company then have to do taxes? That particular company, or it's just a shell company?
Okay, thank you so much. So I would explain it this way. I know that most of you have got trading companies. For example, Jerry has got M&J, and M&J is a trading company. So it's registered as Mo and Jerry Consultants. It's trading. My advice is, your trust must own this consultants company also. Your shareholding, you put it under trust. It's a big advantage. Then, when you're now buying an asset, it's better for you to register a new what? Company. Then you buy it through a new company, but the trust is owning that company. Then the law says if you're doing rentals and you're getting income from that company, the law says you must register for what? For Zimra. Because you're trading. You're getting revenue in terms of rentals through what? Zimra. But I'm saying most of us, we've got ways of running away from the taxman. It's also a good way of running away if you don't want what? You are safer when you've got a company than you've got a trust. Because you don't want your trust to be attacked directly. They will rather attack the company, then the trust will keep on getting the dividends in the background.
Sorry on that one. I've been following you and I've been seeking clarification. Still, I'm not getting it. What I'm then saying is, in my case, I've got a trust that bought property for clusters. But then you're saying I should have used my company to buy that cluster, right? So now the company is trading. It's supposed to do its taxes, isn't it? So if there is the attack, it's the company that comes through the trust as well, isn't it? Or I'm missing something?
Yeah, let me hear you correctly. You said your trust owns your cluster house directly, isn't it?
Yes.
So right now what it means, if you're getting rentals from these clusters, we're supposed to be registered is the trust to the Zimra. So even if you're attacked today, they'll force you to register a family trust to Zimra.
Yes.
But I'm saying instead, if we had registered a company in between, which means the trust was going to own the company and the company owns the cluster. Your company was the one which was going to be required to register at what? At Zimra, not the trust. Because what I don't want is for my trust to start submitting returns.
Fair enough, but the thing that we are pushing at is to protect the property, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm saying, isn't it, the company still is liable because if I buy this building under cheap private limited, then Zimra comes for this building because the cheap private limited is now under attack. Are we not still exposed? Because I'm not getting how you get away around it.
Okay, thank you. So the trust will remain safe. Remember, what I don't want, it's my trust is good. Remember, when I'm going to have 20 properties, let's say I've got 20, because there are people with 20 properties. With a trust, if you're going to own all those 20 properties under one trust, imagine the attack which is going to come from what? Zimra. But you can have all these 20 properties in different what? Companies, but still indirectly they are owned by what? By one trust. So which means if one company is attacked, it's not affecting all the companies because a trust is only a shareholder. Okay. I don't know if you've got it now.
I will need to speak to you directly.
Not a problem. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Come on, let's put our hands together for Jerry. All right. Before I close and recap, I would like to call upon the HOD, the Marketplace Department, to share some closing remarks. So come on, let's put our hands together for Ango Chenge.
Thank you very much. Have we learned something today? Okay. So I'll just take this time to thank Tofara, Fadzai, and Jerry for coming through, and also just to thank Apostle Dr. SM for this platform.